Today, I'm going to be making caramel apple cookies with a caramel cream cheese frosting. So the cookie recipe came from findingtimetofly.com, and then the caramel cream cheese frosting came from bakedbrie.com. So I am going to put the links to both of those in the description below. So if you want to click on them, make these yourself, you can. So when they made the Finding Time to Fly, when they made these cookies, they didn't put any frosting on them at all. So I'll probably try them both ways, with and without frosting. For me, I like things ultra sweet, so I wanted to add frosting to mine. But for the cookie recipe, you need 2 sticks of butter softened. Those are half sticks. You need 1 cup of sugar, ½ teaspoon of salt. You need 1 box with 10 packets. This is the spiced apple cider instant drink mix. You get 10 pouches in here. We're going to be using all 10 of those. You need 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, ½ teaspoon of cinnamon, 3 cups of flour, and then you need 1 teaspoon of baking soda, ½ teaspoon of baking powder, and you need some caramel candies. And the caramel candies, the amount of those you're going to need depends on how many cookies you make. So I've just bought a package of the Brocs because we like the Brocs. And then for the cream cheese frosting, you are going to need 8 ounces of cream cheese, so a whole block of cream cheese, 4 tablespoons of butter, ½ cup of caramel sauce, which I have not measured it out yet, but we're going to be using ½ cup of caramel sauce. You need 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and you need 3 cups of confectioner's sugar. And that confectioner's sugar needs to be divided, which I haven't divided it out. Well, you add the sugar, you don't have to divide it out. You need, you're going to be mixing 1 cup at a time until it's all mixed in. So it's okay. I can take out 1 cup at a time out of there. But right now, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees, and you want to line some baking sheets with parchment paper, which I have done. You want to cream together the butter, sugar, salt, and all 10 packages of this apple cider mix. So now we're going to mix this together until it gets kind of fluffy. Okay, now we're going to mix in our eggs, cinnamon, and vanilla. Take our baking soda and our baking powder and add that to the flour and just whisk that in a little bit, mix it in, and then we're going to add this flour little by little to our wet mixture. Mixture, I have one of my cookie sheets with the parchment paper. We opened up the bag of caramels and we're starting out with just a few. I don't know how many we're gonna need, but I just started off with a few. So what you wanna do is the directions say get about 2 tablespoons. I'm using my big cookie scoop. They're having you lay it on your parchment paper and flatten it out on your parchment paper. I'm gonna try to do that in my hand rather than the parchment paper. And I'm gonna flatten it out of my hand, and then you wanna take one of your caramels and then you want to close it up completely seal it up in there like this, like a little package, like this, and then put it on your cookie sheet. So that seemed to me like that worked well for me. And that way too, you would have to, if you laid it on your parchment paper, you're gonna have to work wherever you lay it. You're gonna have to work right there. And I don't think you're gonna wanna pick it up and move it around once you, and two, is it gonna stick to it really bad, to that parchment paper? I mean, it's not gonna stick, like be stuck there, but I think this works better, put it that way. Space these far apart because I don't know how much they're going to spread out. So I kind of use my first pan as, you know, my test pan, and then if they don't spread out that much, then I'll put the next set closer together. But we are going to bake these at 350 for 12 to 14 minutes or until lightly brown around the edges. So I'm gonna set my timer for, I'm gonna go on the low end because these are kind of small. I'm gonna go for 12 minutes, but then when they come back, I'll let you know how long it took. So this is how the cookies look after 13 minutes. It looks like they could actually stay a minute longer. We could have probably gone the whole 14 minutes, but you see, you can't tell that there's even any caramel in here. So now we're just gonna let them cool completely. So now we're gonna start working on our caramel cream cheese frosting. So we want to take our cream cheese and our butter, and we are going to mix them together on medium speed until they are creamy. So now we're gonna add our vanilla and our caramel, and I just wanna show you, this is the Smucker's caramel topping. It is a 12.25 ounce jar. If you buy this was brand new, you're gonna use about half of it. So you'll have half of it left for something else if you want it. So now we're gonna add those two things to our mix here and mix it again. Wipe my bowl down because I have some on the edge here, and then I'm going to start adding my powdered sugar. So here's the frosting. This frosting, like I said in the beginning, did not come with the cookie recipe. So when she made the cookie recipe, she ate them just like they are, and we will be doing that. We're gonna leave some of these unfrosted, and so we can try them both ways. But I figured it would be pretty, and it would add some sweetness just to frost them. And Kevin and I like ultra sweet things anyway. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of frosting. And then up in the cabinet, Kevin found some sprinkles. So, don't know how long these have been around, but those are really cute too. So, some of these, I'll probably have some sprinkles on. I might do some without sprinkles. There's actually two different kinds of sprinkles in that container.
Yeah, what do you do? Turn the top it does? Select the other side?
Yeah, so this is just for one side, and then this is the other side.
Oh, okay.
And so this has the little, like, jimmies, like that. Yeah. I think these are cuter than the little balls, but, you know, you can do whatever you want. So when we get over to the table, we're gonna be trying a frosted one, we're gonna be trying an unfrosted one, and also, Kevin had a really great idea. He said, why don't we try some without any caramel piece in the center? So we made two out of all the ones we made. we made 2 cookies with no caramel in the center at all. That way, if you or your teeth are sensitive, or maybe you just don't want to make that part, maybe you just don't want the caramel part, we can tell you what they taste like with no caramel at all.
Did you mention about letting them cool off before you move them from your pan?
Very important, very, very important. Before you move them from your pan over to your rack, your cooling rack, you need to let them cool completely. So these I had let cool completely on my pan before I moved them over. You need to do that because what happens is if they're still warm, like these were, I've lost a couple because these were still warm, and you move them over, what happens is you get a blowout. And so on the bottom of this pan, all my caramel has leaked out the bottom, and when I pull it up, it's gonna crack my cookie because the cookie was not set. So Kevin and I, of course, can still eat those. There's gonna be just a couple, there's like 3 here that were not cooled off first, but the rest of them I learned really quickly. You have to let them cool completely before you move them over to your cooling rack. Cookie recipe that I got from Finding Time to Fly says, all the flavor of a caramel apple packed inside a neat cookie package. Well, not too neat. There is that gooey, sticky center to deal with. So, Finding Time to Fly, they actually say you get 40 cookies. I got 29 cookies. And I
don't know how in the world you could get 40 cookies.
No, I would have had to have used my small, very small cookie scoop.
But you would have had to cut the caramel in half.
Yes, the caramel, yes, because you saw the size.
It fit perfect.
Yeah, it was wonderful for what I had. It was like I made mine like a ping pong ball size and flattened them out, but then the caramel's so big and square that really you needed that size. So you're right, it would be a lot more trouble to make more cookies because you would have to split up that caramel.
Unless you got those little caramel like balls,
the
little bitty ones, then you could have just taken a few of those and put in there.
You could if you wanted to make them bigger.
These are perfect size cookies.
I think so too. And so I got 29 cookies. Know that.
So
the first one we're going to try has nothing in it. Kevin wanted to try it with no caramel in the middle. So
no frosting.
No frosting, no caramel.
Ooh. I wanted to see how apple-like just the cookie was.
Just with all that spice.
Mm-hmm. That's a nice apple flavor. Even has a little bite to it, right? A little zing to it, and you get that sugary kind of gritty texture to it too.
I love that all by itself.
Okay, so that's good.
So it is more of a normal sweetness. Probably
it's pretty sweet.
It is very sweet, but it's on the lower sweet end, I think, than most of the cookies that we are used to having.
Yeah, it's still plenty sweet enough.
But it's plenty sweet enough. Yes, I love it. I don't think you need the caramel if you don't want the caramel. Let's see what.
I'm just thinking if you don't want to deal with like separating them out, maybe you just don't like caramel that much, and you just want just that apple part.
So what is this one?
This one's the same thing except it has frosting on it.
Oh, okay. So this doesn't have any caramel either.
No, I don't know if I can split those. I'm trying.
Or you could just take a bite.
Here, you take a first bite.
Okay.
It might fall apart right there.
Okay.
The ones we didn't put caramel in, we noticed they really stayed like humped up, thicker than the other ones did.
I love that. It adds a lot of sweetness to it. It's a really great caramel flavor. I don't think I've ever made caramel frosting like that. And you know what? You can buy caramel frosting.
It's not like this though, because this has got that cream cheese flavor in it.
Yes, exactly. So you can buy, if you wanted a shortcut, you could make these same cookies and buy whatever frosting you want, but caramel frosting. But I do love this if you have the time and the ingredients. And I'm not missing the caramel in the center.
No, of course, we haven't had one with caramel yet. But that's
Right.
really good. You still get a little bit of the apple.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
you get that cream cheese as well with a little bit of the caramel flavor. I like
Yes.
that.
Yeah, but you do get a lot of that apple flavor. Okay, so now are you trying one with the caramel in it?
This is how the original recipe was.
Yes, so this is how, yes, they intended for you to make them at home without doing all the extra that I did.
Now, I've noticed this caramel is a little stiff. Like
Yeah,
it's
so
almost
like-
like it's the wrong caramel.
So, well, the only thing that the recipe says, it says caramel candies. It does not say
It needs to be a softer.
it doesn't say a brand, a type, whatever. It just says caramel candies. You saw I bought name brand, but
I mean, it works out. It's just really dense.
this is all cookie, so there's no caramel in it. So I want to take a bite with the caramel. It's very, looks like it's chewy.
It's not like the picture they're showing is really stretchy and liquidy. This one's more chewy. I'll tell you what, it still has that sharp apple flavor, which I really like.
I do too. But you definitely get caramel.
I like that, but truthfully, I like it just as much with no caramel,
I do
just the
too.
frosting.
I do too. I like it just as much. Honestly, I'm thinking if I did these again, I would buy the balls, and because
I just put a little spoonful.
they have the little balls in the baking aisle. And what I would do to make it easy, I would put my dough down in my hand like I did, and I would go ahead and pour that whole package of balls into a bowl and just pick them up with my fingers and get like 2 or 3 and put them in the middle.
Yeah, just make a cup, like a bowl with your dough.
Yeah, and put them that way because I don't think those are going to be quite as tough as these.
Yeah, these are kind of firm.
Okay, so this is the exact same thing,
It just has frosting on it.
but with frosting.
I'm just gonna bite into it, so trying to take it apart.
Of course, the caramel is only on one side, really.
I do love that frosting. I love a cream cheese frosting anyway. And yeah, I'm really impressed with how you get that little bite from the apple. It wouldn't be the same if you didn't get that little zing, that little just a little bite in there. Now I know why I was worried it was going to be too much apple powder.
I was going to say Kevin was very
She was
skeptical.
pouring that in there. I was like, wow, that's going to be awful.
Well,
And boy, is it sweet, and it really does add that
when we
sharpness.
bought it at the store, Kevin was surprised that that's what we were supposed to buy. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you buy. That instant mix. And so that surprised Kevin. And then to know we're going to use every packet. But it's not too much. Truly,
No, it's perfect.
though, you know what? I would not buy those big caramels again.
I wouldn't put caramel in it at all.
I don't think they need the caramel.
No.
I think it's really good. And I think if you use caramel frosting that you buy or make it yourself, you don't even need that caramel in the middle unless you buy the balls. It's just this, even though it's Brock's brand, it's too tough. And like I have a wad stuck in my teeth right now of caramel that I can't get, I can't clean it out on
Can't get rid of.
during the video. I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I have a big hunk of caramel in my teeth. And so I just think they're a lot easier to eat without the caramel. But delicious cookies.
They're good every way, truthfully. The caramel is either get a different kind of caramel or get smaller pieces of caramel. Like you could probably mix in those little caramel balls instead of stuffing them. You could probably just mix it in.
Mix it in and have them all in there.
Instead of like chocolate chips, it would be caramel chips.
It'd be caramel chips, yeah.
You could do it
I
that
thought
way.
about that too, yeah.
Or my personal preference would be just to make the cookies and put the frosting on.
I think so too. I think you're better off Same recipe, just don't do the caramel part, and just do the caramel on your own for the
As a
top.
frosting.
But the cookie recipe itself, just the
very
base
good.
cookie, it's delicious. So
And it does work out. You saw it does work out perfectly fine without the caramel in there.
yeah, you don't need that caramel at all. Yeah, so I hope you all give them a try. Once again, I'm going to have the links in the description so you can go there and print it out just like I did. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.